I don't always agree with the narrative in the collective. The universe isn't just out there, it's interacting with you. Claim your power by embracing the unknown. This is Tracy with Tracy Talks, and I'm here to ignite your curiosity. Don't just listen, embrace it. I find it interesting the topics that are crossing my path. And sometimes the algorithm seems accurate, that I am getting cycles of information from stories and creators that I've already listened to. And then it feels like the algorithm is directing me or trying to direct me into a specific lane. As always, I'm going to say I'm not a medical professional. I'm not offering you advice. I'm not suggesting that you take my advice or share my opinion. I'm just talking about topics that spark emotions in me and they spark interest. And so lately, the topics that have been showing up in my feed are gray divorce. There is a lot more information at this point regarding menopause, the symptoms that women are experiencing, and possible remedies to reduce the symptoms, which is fine. And I just find it interesting how many women have shared stories where when they went to their medical professional, they didn't feel like they were listened to. And I guess I find that interesting because I don't know that I have experienced that when I have gone to a female physician. And certainly if I had been completely dismissed or I had been directed in a different area, I probably would have found a different professional. Some of the topics that are being discussed right now are talking about the direct correlation between gray divorce and menopausal women. That there are more divorces now midlife. Statistically, women are the ones who file divorce at a higher rate. And so there's this direct correlation that women were or are initiating divorce, and is there a causal effect from menopause and the reduction in hormones? And I've also been seeing a lot of feed about hormone replacement and get back to feeling like your old self. I've also had an acquaintance that I worked with who he had recently gone through a divorce and was sharing stories about how women are the initiators midlife and how, what is this direct correlation with menopause and women wanting divorce? And I found that when I hear these types of stories, that it irritates me beyond words, as if I am somebody who is at complete mercy of my hormones and of my emotions, and that I am unable to regulate how I feel unless I have estrogen in my body. I didn't initiate divorce because my hormone levels were dropping. I initiated my divorce because I was not with an equal partner. I was with somebody who had disengaged over a period of years, who intentionally woke up every single day and made choices that resembled acting like a child, that resembled like they needed to be told and instructed on the chores and the list that they needed to do, that they could not take ownership over their active involvement in the relationship. Now, if somebody wants to talk about men and their own hormone levels and hormone issues, and why that so many men are unwilling to emotionally engage with the partners that they have. Certainly, this discussion is not a one size fits all, because every relationship has their own issues and hot topics and reasons for the relationship not working. But I guess I'm frustrated that here we are, we're trying to encourage women to understand how their body is working midlife and how can we improve our quality of life, and what are the options that we can take, either through diet, through exercise, through mental health, through replacement therapies. I mean, there are a number of ways that we can, as women, impact our quality of life. Another factor that truly impacted my quality of life was my relationships. And how are the people that I am in relationship with showing up? I didn't give up on my husband. I didn't give up on the man. I gave up on a relationship that wasn't working. I would do exactly the same thing with a female friend. If she was dismissing me, if she was totally disengaging me, if she was doing things that felt like she was intentionally sabotaging the relationship, I would completely end that female friendship and not look back. And I hear some people and it's like, oh, but these men, they have their own challenges. They were raised to not share emotions. And it's like, part of me is so frustrated with that. It's 2025. We have access to amazing amounts of information. We have access to mental health. We have access to therapists. We have access to so much information. There have been men that I have talked to that know they're struggling, but refuse to get help, to refuse to talk to somebody about what they're feeling. And I'm getting frustrated that it comes back down to the women then. We're supposed to just stick around in the relationship and continue to fix something that's broken, continue to mask whatever the difference is. We're just expected to put a smile on our face, to take a little pill and feel differently, and just continue to support somebody who has completely emotionally disengaged from me. I don't have your answers. But my answers were never going to be continue to support somebody who isn't even willing to recognize that maybe they need to change. Maybe they need to respond differently. I wasn't going to spend 20, 30 more years waking up every day, being completely frustrated, expecting something to change, expecting something to feel different. And now I feel like there's a collective narrative out there. I just need to take a little pill and to chill and to just learn to ride the waves. That it's my emotions that need to de-escalate, that need to calm down. But what I'm realizing for me is my emotions, my feelings are a part of my navigational system. There are waves, there are highs, there are lows, but at the end of the day, my emotions and my feelings are an important tool in my navigation of life. And why does our body as women naturally stop producing certain hormones? Why is this part of our evolution? And yet the medical industry is trying to counteract that. And I just think that's interesting. I don't have any professional information on it, but I think it's interesting how we have a natural process and we're trying to avoid it for some reason. With my health history, it is not recommended that I take any type of replacement therapies. So what you see is what you get with me. There is no regulation of my emotions, that I am going to show up how I need to show up. I am not at the mercy of my emotions, but I am passionate about certain topics, about certain situations, experiences, differences. There are certain things that make me passionate. And I am not going to show up in relationship with somebody who doesn't want to get into the trenches with me, who wants to keep the walls up, who wants to keep the moats up, who wants to keep everybody out, who wants to act like they were perfect, that they didn't do anything in their previous marriage or marriages. Those are not my people. I have so much more respect for somebody that says, you know what? I didn't do that. I didn't handle that as well as I could have. I should have maybe done this. We could have done this. And somebody who at least can recognize a situation and how maybe if they had done just things a little bit differently, the outcome would have exponentially changed. And certainly I'm seeing this through my perspective, and I'm seeing it through my own experiences. But again, it just felt like this narrative that was being shoved down at me was, if I just take this little pill, that I as a woman can avoid divorce, or I can avoid these emotions and these roller coasters, and I don't have to be at the mercy of my emotions. I'm not. My friends that I know, we're not. We're not just walking around being angry. There are people that have angered us. There are circumstances that have angered us because we've been hurt, we've been taken advantage of, we've overgiven, we didn't set boundaries. We believed somebody when they said they would do that, when they would love us. We believed somebody. That has nothing to do with our uncontrollable emotions. It seems like to me that is more about character. All I know is, for me at this point in my life, I am learning to trust emotions when they come up in me. I'm not trying to push them down, push them away, to be afraid of them. I am trying to direct them into an appropriate outlet. I am valuing my emotions as a navigational tool. If someone cannot handle my passion, they are not my person. I am not going to respond in the same way that you do, and you are not going to respond in the same way that I do. And that's okay. And I feel like that is also unattainable goal that somebody out there in the universe is trying to accomplish, that we all will respond and react in the same way. And we're not designed. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us is showing up into the world as a unique individual. And I don't feel like I got divorced because I gave up on somebody. I feel like I got divorced because I started seeing somebody as who they really were. Thank you for listening to this episode of Tracy Talks. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe, and share with others who would enjoy listening to this podcast. Friends can find Tracy Talks available on iTunes, Spotify, Substack, and YouTube. Hit me up on Instagram and Facebook at More Tracy Talks. And until next time, we meet again.